All right, happy Friday afternoon to you. We're here with Coach Atchley, coach of the Bulldogs, and Coach, we've ended the season, and it's been a minute since we've been on here, and so there's been quite a bit happen since then. We know where you finished the season. We know what seed you are going into the tournament, but I would just like for you to kind of speak of this latter half of the conference season, highlight some things, and just kind of speak on your boys a little bit.
We've kind of been a more inconsistent team that we've had in the past, but we beat some tougher teams in the conference. We beat Pottsville that first rotation, and outside of those top two juggernauts in our league, we're the only ones that's handed them a loss. And then we beat Dardanelle at home in front of a good crowd a couple weeks ago. Some of the teams, it's one of those weird years where you beat some teams that you're probably not supposed to beat, and you drop some to teams you think you're going to take care of business, but we're still figuring it out. We're still pretty young. We had 5 seniors we honored Tuesday night with graduation, but we play a bunch of underclassmen. We play a lot of kids in general, but it's part of the growing pains of going through that, and you never know what you're going to get. We're trying to find some consistency here, especially late in the season, but it's always changing for sure.
Right, and we'll talk about the tournament here in just a little bit, but let's reflect. You mentioned Tuesday night, senior night. Huge day at the WAC. So let's just talk about that a little bit. I know we kind of called you out a little bit and did some things for you that night. You being your last ball game at the WAC and
embarrassed the fire out of
well,
them for sure.
But we had a monster crowd show up to support you guys and of course you and what you've kind of done for us. So I mean, just speak on what it meant and anything else that you would like to add just about that night.
It was one of those nights. It was one of those nights that obviously I'll never forget, but those seniors, taking them out the right way. Everybody's told me how exciting a game it was. I'd rather have not been as near as exciting if we had just taken care of business early and often. But it was a special night. I don't want to take anything away from seniors. That was the right way to send them out. Big crowd. I know Miss Lipham had her mini cheer camp strategically placed in there, which always brings us a big crowd. We love that. Our student section was hopping for sure.
Yes.
And so it was a fun night. It was a crazy night. And then anytime you play Minas, generally a pretty fun night. And I don't want to start naming names of people because I'll lose.
No,
I'll lose. I'll forget somebody. But I had, me personally, incredibly blessed. The amount of people who stepped up and did different things. I was not expecting one thing. I know a bunch of people kind of was in on the plan. Word never got to me. It started. I had a gift from some of the coaches to start the evening, and things just kept coming my way. I thought I was going to give everybody a gift on Tuesday in the form of my britches, but
we overshadowed it.
They definitely repaid that, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget any of my experiences here. You mentioned just a second ago things I've done for the basketball program. The basketball program and our athletic programs in general have done so much for me and where I am, and I'm leaving a dream job. This has always been my dream. Little kid in Coach Lipham's class, wanting to be the Bulldog basketball coach, and I've got to do it. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm just moving to a different role here within the district. Going to move to the high school principal role starting next year. So it was definitely a fun night. I really hadn't thought about it a ton that day, but people kept bringing it up to me, and then just a lot of emotions there during the night. And we have so many incredible people in our athletic programs in our school districts. And like I said, I don't need to start naming names because I'll forget somebody. But
we definitely want to give a shout out to Zimmerman because I mean that was added a little twist to the night that you're just not used to.
We had Matt Zimmerman from the Razorbacks come down and call a game. He coached years ago in our gym. He was the head coach at Dardanelle. Coach Lipham and Coach Adams was two. You got me naming the names now.
Yeah,
was two main players in that, along with my wife, Kristen. Actually stepped up and did a lot. And it started from really during the day, and then I think I was up past midnight reading messages and watching videos that were sent to me. And so it was a special night. I don't want to take anything away from the ball game, the seniors, the team. It's really about them, and they didn't disappoint. They gave the fans what they wanted in an exciting game. I'd rather have not been near as exciting, but it was, and we pulled out a win. And their prize now is they get to go on Monday and play the same Mina Bearcat team.
Yeah, neutral site at Clarksville. We're going to play at 6:20 on Monday night, the 12th. And man, it's a tough road, but this is the group to do it. And it seems like it's lining up to be the road that you would probably have chosen if you had to be in this position, right? With the seed, with where you're. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to be in the playing game, but
there's a lot of factors to it for sure. Our job as coaches is to make sure that we're looking at things glass half full approach and making sure our guys are ready to go. But it does line up for us. We're not really worried about anything beyond Monday. We've been talking about Monday. We've been working on Monday, and we're going to make sure we advance on Monday. And so that's our goal, and then we'll attack the rest of the week as it comes to us. But for an up and down season, kind of an up and down league for the most part, outside those top two juggernauts at the top. But outside of that, we're in a position to we control our own destiny, and we've been talking all year how the most important game is going to be your last one, and so we're trying to take care of business, and we're focused on Monday for sure.
yeah, it's cliche to say the season doesn't matter now. You've done all that work, but at this point, it's anybody's game, and that's the truth. And so Monday night, we know for a fact we'll be playing Mina, and hope to see you guys there. If you can make the trip, we'll have it live on Bulldog TV. And man, it's just we're ready to see it happen, get the right group at the right time, and make a run in this tournament to regionals. So
Yeah, we got the group that can do it.
that's right. Anything else?
Fly the W.
All right, go Dogs. Okay. All right, good afternoon. It's Friday, and it's been a little bit since we've come for any coffee with Coach, but especially with Coach Bryan and Lady Bulldog basketball. And season is coming to an end. We have already ended junior high season. A little shorter than we wanted to, and then we have senior high really going into the district tournament, so we're going to find out. But Coach, let's go ahead and start off with the junior high squad. Kind of give, if the fan didn't really pay attention to the Lady Bulldogs this year, junior high, kind of tell them what they missed out on, where you ended up, and we'll go from there.
The girls ended the season 17-8, so won 17, lost 8. Ended 5-5 in conference. We, like I said, kind of ended our season a lot sooner than we anticipated. I told the girls last year, and one of them kind of reminded me, it's hard to beat someone 3 times, and when you play someone in conference twice, and they got to play them again in the district tournament, you kind of have their number. It's not going to really show you anything new. So, kind of the perfect storm happened to us this year. Ended our season a little earlier, but the girls played the season well. They had multiple games where they're scoring 40+ points, even over 50. Had a couple games over 60, and you see 8th and 9th grade girls scoring 60 points, 50 points in multiple games. There's not just one person scoring.
Right.
There's multiple people, and a good chunk of those 8th graders you're going to see again next year as freshmen. McKenna, Chloe, and Ashlyn, who saw the majority of the playing time as 8th graders this season. You're going to get to see them along with some other 8th graders that are moving up that are going to be pretty good as freshmen next year with a lot more experience. Got a 7th grade group coming in. They want to learn, they want to play. So
Not a very big group, but they
group.
hustled this year. Like I think they shocked a lot of us because they really came in. Probably not the skill level that you would like to have a kid start your program with.
About as green as they could be.
Yeah. And so they ended up winning 4 games, I'm pretty sure, maybe 5.
I think they won 3,
Okay.
tied 1.
Gotcha. I knew there was a tie, that's right. And so yeah, they're a little fired up. I think it's a small group, but a lot to work with. I spoke to you earlier about when the season comes to an end for junior high bunch, you try to figure out why, and there's really no why there. I think I'd like to see a little more belief out of the kids. I think sometimes they get a little down on themselves and something goes wrong, and so I think that's going to be some work that you've got on your plate skill wise. Though, I mean, what else? I mean, the shooting challenges you're doing. Those kids definitely shot the ball better this year as they scored more points. They're constantly working as our programs do, but it's just hard to really put something and say, if we'd have just done this, we would be a champion this year. I mean, what did you tell your kids after that game? Because I know it was upsetting for the junior high bunch?
At the end of every game, we always talk about what we could have done better, and then what we did well in. And you can't really pinpoint one thing that you did wrong. I know every girl in the locker room was, pointing the finger at themselves, saying, if I'd have done this better, we could have won, or something like that. And like I said, it was just the perfect storm. We ended up missing 14 free throws. We didn't miss 14 free throws. We hadn't done that since Christmas. We hadn't missed over 10 since Christmas. And missed a couple easy shots, missed a couple of assignments on defense. Things that we just didn't typically do, and Mina took advantage of it.
Yeah.
The girls had a good season, and they got to get past it. I think they have. Is it bitter? Yeah, because it's still fresh.
Yeah.
But they're going to get past it, and they're going to have a better season next year with the junior high, I believe, because it's a skilled group coming in, and the freshmen leaving are definitely going to help the senior high team next year.
Right. Well, let's just switch gears to senior high. It's been one of those seasons, and you can look back at your first year last year compared to this year. You've doubled the wins for the program. You're still sitting at a lower seed in the coming into the tournament. I just want to talk a little bit about senior night, and for 3 quarters, I felt like that game was just anybody's, and it kind of fell apart. But it was a monster crowd. Had a lot of people there supporting. Anything you want to talk about with senior high? I know we know for a fact that we're an 8 seed. We don't know who we're going to play just yet, but we're going to be playing Monday night at 5 o'clock. We know that. That's all we know, really.
Well, with some of the senior high girls, they kind of made mention to me last week. If we'd have been playing as hard as we played the last couple of games, our season would be different. It would be. We kind of had a little come to Jesus meeting around Christmas time. Me getting on them pretty hard because they just weren't playing as hard as they could have.
Right.
And, I had one of them come up to me and said, I see what you see. And, if we'd have been playing this hard, we could have a couple more wins or beat some people that didn't expect it.
Right.
Yeah, it's 100%, but it's, hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
They, I do think that they have grown since the start of the season. They're taking better shot selection. We've still got a little bit of the throwing the ball up rather than shooting the ball up.
Right.
But seeing the open person, trying to deliver a good pass, working on post moves a little bit, because in our league it's a very post dominant league with a couple good shooters, and if you don't have a dominant post down low, it's very hard to win a ball game.
Right.
Majority of the teams, like I said, their best player is a 5, with a couple good guards sprinkled in there, able to deliver them the ball and hit the ball from the outside.
We're playing 4A basketball, and the conference we're in, everybody talks about it. It's just tough. But if you look at the girls, you have Morrilton, who's clearly the number 1 team in the conference. But I say clearly because they're number 1. Dardanelle's out there with them, and then
Dardanelle is a good shooting out. They could beat them.
Your middle 5 teams, okay, that we're looking to be playing one of them are they 7-win teams?
7-win teams.
So they're all very competitive.
7 out of 14. So they're all 500 in conference.
Yeah.
There's 3 teams tonight that are playing that are 6 and 7. 2 of them are playing each other, and one's playing the 7 seed in Pottsville. So Clarksville's should win that one. And of course, it's played at Pottsville. It's kind of hard to win at Pottsville. And then Ozark and Fountain Lake are playing each other. Fountain Lake destroyed Ozark last time they played them, but of course that was at Fountain Lake.
Yeah.
So you could potentially have 3 7-win teams and a 6-7 team. So it's going to be an interesting matchup this week.
It is. You shake everything off though, and you put everything behind you because you guys have just as good of a chance to make regionals and all that as anybody else in the tournament bracket if you just put it all behind you and go play basketball and play hard like you've talked about. Coach, anything else you want to add? I'd love to do maybe one more after the tournament's over, depending on how things are going. But if we don't get to come back for a coffee with Coach, anything you want to add to the season in general for both groups?
I've coached a lot of teams, and I really enjoy these girls. And they do work hard when it comes push comes to shove. That I think getting the belief in themselves was the key between now and Christmas. knowing that they could compete. And I think if we would have saw that a little earlier in the season, we would have probably had a different result and a different outcome in a lot of our games.
Well, we are going to be live for you guys. If you can't make it to Clarksville Monday night at 5 o'clock, we'll know this weekend who we're playing. But tune in and let's go get us a victory and let's go shock some people and just play well and do well in our tournament. So
they can do it.
They can do it. All right, guys. We are in a different room. We're in with another basketball coach, Coach Terwilliger, and we're going to speak a little bit about the junior high boys basketball program. Now, this year, we can speak on 7th grade as well. They had a pretty good little schedule, had a pretty good little record.
Yes, we lost 2 games in 7th grade all year if you don't count the game they played in the RBES against a junior high team.
Right.
So
pretty talented group.
Yes.
They've been working for several years together, which has really been helpful. So we can add that in there too. But let's just kind of talk about junior high season leading up to the tournament. Anything you'd like to tell or add?
So we finished the year with an 11-15 record, counting the district tournament game. There were some highs and lows. We won 8 straight at one point, lost our first 3, and then won 8 straight after that. And then we got to conference and competed well in conference. We lost almost every conference game by single digits, excluding like 2 or 3. So, we were right there, and a bunch of little things that happened just kept us from winning those games consistently.
Right.
So.
And then highlight a couple, and it's hard to name drop because you're talking about kids. They all work hard. You have a really good group of kids that work hard.
They do.
But just impact players that you feel like really made some step up or made a difference.
As far as freshmen go, Raul Perez and Austin Yandel were leaders all year, or they tried their best to be.
Right.
Raul's not a very vocal guy, so he was kind of a lead by example dude, and Yandel was that way at first, and he got more vocal as the year went on, so that was good. 8th grade wise, Pete Williams and Austin Hudson did a great job stepping up and being guards for us. And then Alex Cervantes, a 7th grader, stepped up and played big minutes late with some sicknesses and injuries and all that going on. So I'm proud of all those dudes. Jackson Brown improved tremendously. I think he honestly might have ended up being our best free throw shooter of the season, which is crazy because, watching him in the past, he can't shoot very well. So.
No, he's very physical. He's a defensive player,
Yes.
and he'll try to get those rebounds too. So I just think you end the season, first round of the tournament, obviously being where you were is playing a really good team.
Right.
And so that always comes up short, as we like to say. But you've learned a lot of things. You got a pretty good group coming back and then moving up. So kind of speaking on next year's.
Next year's group, like I said, we'll have 3 guards that have junior high experience coming back next year, and you're only as good as your guards, so that'll be big time. We've got Isaac Smudka coming back. He's an 8th grader, and I don't think that dude ever gets tired.
I don't think so.
He works his tail off all the time. And then you got a bunch from that good 7th grade moving up as 8th graders. Eli Morris works his tail off. Austin Helton thinks he can shoot it a little bit, but he's going to improve on that.
Yeah.
And then you got big Hayden Henry in there. Owen Milligan stepped up and gave me good minutes in 7th grade. So just a really hard-working group that I think will figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's you never hate to because you start basketball now.
Right.
You've already started. I know you're taking a little bit. Kind of catch your breath, but you're really already starting again. Kids are back on the floor.
Yes.
There's no downtime. Those kids that just play basketball, they're back. Ball's back in their hands.
Right. Especially in 7th grade, we've already started doing off-season stuff. Those dudes don't get tired of basketball. I had to make my junior high group take a little bit of a break so I didn't get burnt out.
Right.
But we'll be starting legitimate off-season stuff in the next coming couple weeks.
Right.
So, but they're still out there playing every day and trying to get better.
Right. And that's all we can ask. A good group of kids, and they brought some excitement to the floor this year, and so looking forward to what we got next year. So, Coach, you got anything else to add into it?
I don't think so.
This will be our final copy this year for
Yeah.
junior high basketball. So,
I just want to reiterate how proud I am of these dudes, man. This was my first 7th grade group when I got here, so to see them grow from 7th graders into junior high kids and then moving into senior high next year has been an awesome experience.
Yeah, pretty cool transition for
Yeah.
them. So, all right, that's it for it.